Hello everyone, welcome to another session. Today we will be discussing servers, specifically the Ubuntu server. So Ubuntu is a distribution of Linux, okay? And there are several distribution of Ubuntu also, like Linux Mint, okay? So which is what I use. So we are discussing working with server, Linux server specifically because Linux has less overhead. It is light, it is nimble, it is free. So it's so popular that server options, when you consider server options, Linux is number one. It's even outperformed, or it is heavily in demand and requested as when you compare that with Microsoft Windows Server. Okay. I think Windows Server is mainly used in corporate organizations, but because Ubuntu servers are open source, anybody can use it for any project, whether it's corporate, whether it's a hobbyist project, right? Okay, so this course is divided into 4 sections, and of course, the prerequisite means that you would have had to do or complete your backend courses in your individual tracks and the general track also. So 4 sections. Section 1 talks about the introduction of Ubuntu, okay, and explains how you can use it. So there are a couple of ways you can use Ubuntu. Okay, you can use it by installing VirtualBox, which is cross-platform on any operating system. If you use a Windows system, then you can use WSL or even VirtualBox. So either one of them is fine. If you are more adventurous, you can dual boot. So dual boot just means on one computer, you have Windows as a separate operating system, and you also have Linux as a separate operating system. So whenever you turn on your computer, it will show you a boot menu of either Windows or Linux. So when you click on Windows, you log in. If you had clicked on Linux, you log in with your username and password. So that's what I currently use. So of course, Windows there's some application that works better on Windows. Okay, so for me, I do music production. I produce soft rock music. So I think the hack has not been completed on Linux. So it's a bit difficult doing it on Linux. So that's why I need to use Windows. And then maybe if I need to use Excel to do a report or PowerPoint, although Linux has all of that too. Well, if you have used the software for years, you probably know it better than a software that is not so common and is not so used all the time, right? So I've discussed WSL, I've discussed VirtualBox. The only one I've not discussed right now will be cloud services. So cloud providers like AWS and GCP, this is Google Cloud, and DigitalOcean, they have also Ubuntu servers that you can use. So I think right now, the latest version of Ubuntu is version 20. I think 20.1 or 20.00 LTS, I think 20.004, I think. So that's the stable version. LTS meaning long-term support version. So when you're installing yours, even though the tutorial is using example of Ubuntu 16 and in some cases 14, you should install the stable one, which is 20, right? Okay, so we have discussed this. So that's basically section 1. Okay. So VirtualBox, I've explained what VirtualBox has a GUI. WSL, you can only use it on Windows. You basically operate it with commands. Just the same way you have your VS Code terminal or your Git bash. All right, so moving on to section 2, talks about firewall. Uncomplicated firewall UFW shows you how to set it up explains to you how it works defaultly, right? Move on to section 3, which talks about web servers. So you have two open source servers, web servers that are common. Web servers meaning servers that can serve your web content, right? Whether it's HTML, whether it's PHP. Okay, so these two common web servers are Nginx and Apache. So you typically use them individually, together, separately. Just Nginx is enough to serve your whole page, or you settle for Apache. Sometimes, depending on how complicated how complicated your deployment is going to be, you will need to install both of them on one computer, but that's another hassle. So, but for this tutorial, you just need to install only one, okay? Personally, I use Nginx, right? So, but if maybe you are coming from a place where you've used Apache previously, that's fine. You can install Apache, okay? So, then moving on to section 4, which is the test, you have multi-choice questions, right? 5 questions based on what you have read here in sections 1, 2, 3. Okay, it should be simple enough. Then the test exercises to deploy on your local host. Okay, so I'm giving you a repository, HTML repository. You clone it, you move the repository to your HTML folder, right? And then you use this URL to serve that web application. You also put your information to customize the website to your taste. Submit a screenshot. So the main thing I want to see is a screenshot of your index, which is your home page, your about page, your contacts page, your diary, and your portfolio pages, right? Okay, so let's check what's going on in the repository. All right, so this repository has a home page, which is the index.html. So it's on the parent, it's on the root of this repository. You have a README there. You have pages. Pages are the about, contact, diary, and portfolio pages, right? So you don't need to meddle with JS or CSS folders here. If you want, you can decide to change the profile picture. If you have a nice picture, you can do that. You notice that this profile picture has a .jpg file format. So if you don't have a picture with that format, you can convert, or that's if you want to change the picture, or if you have maybe a picture with .png format or JPEG, just do the needful in your index.html by linking it appropriately. Okay, so I'm checking. You can see this is where it's linked. So image tag src images folder / profile.jpg. So whatever your picture is named, if you want to change it, put the name here and the file extension. It should be good to go. It should display on your page. All right, so let's go back to the exercise. It says clone this repository. Okay. So let me go back to my home directory. I think I already cloned it. Let's see. Remove. I think I already cloned it. Okay, so I've done that. So let's follow the instructions. Clone this. Okay. All right. So this second command, it depends on what you installed. If you installed Nginx, then you use this. If you installed Apache, then you use this. So I installed Nginx. Okay. Look at Nginx -v. So I'll be using this command, right? To move my repository, deploy web app to variable /ww/html folder, right? So let me do that. So it asks me for password. I'll put in my system password. Okay, no errors, so meaning it has copied. Now, why are we using sudo? We are using sudo because as at the time when you're installing Nginx on your Linux operating system, right? This variable /ww creates itself, okay? And it's creating itself in your root folders. So all the folders here actually have root permission. So that's why we are using sudo, because of the root permission. If I use something else, it will tell me permission denied, right? If I use only cp as copy, without the sudo, it will tell me permission denied, right? Okay, so then, so since I moved it, I just copy this URL, okay? You can copy this URL or type it in my browser. I've copied it, I type it. So it displays this page. So that profile picture in the repository was this lady. You can change it. If you have a nicer picture, you can put, if you want to leave it like that, fine. But just make sure you change all this information to information concerning yourself. Okay. So that's all I ask. If you don't do it, you will not get full marks. So please do that. About me, tell us about yourself. You can write as much as you want. Yeah. But make sure it's contained in one screen so that your screenshot doesn't start escaping into you have to start scrolling down, right? Portfolio, your name. So all these things I'm telling you, all these things you are saying, add your own information. It says add links to and description to your portfolio. Maybe a link to something I've done before or to a work that you think is nice. Maybe if you don't have any yet, click on my diaries, do at least a single diary entry. You can do multiple. I'm putting Monday, May 10. You can change the dates, right? Put any of your diary entries on the things you've learned so far in the internship. You don't have to write so much, just a few things, important things that you think you've learned. All right, and then your contact information you can put there. You can put your real contact information. You can decide to put fictitious information, whatever, but just put some information there. You can even change the color of the page, design it better than me. So it's not color your text and all of that. Just play around with it, but don't waste too much time. Just do the needful and you should be good to go. So you can see this is not serving this file from, like before, when you click on your index, it will show the location, where that file is. Like if you're on Windows, it will show C drive / whatever. But this is showing you something like a URL. If we are to go further into the Nginx, I can show you how to serve applications with a custom URL, okay? How to do it even on cloud servers, right? So, but for this exercise, this is about that. This is enough, all right, to just give you an idea. So this is very simple. Okay. Okay, so as we go on, if there are any questions, you can always reach out and we'll trash it together. Thank you for listening. Have a lovely day.